Hey guys, so I wanted to share a vision that I received from God. It's about hell, and I'm just gonna read what I wrote down. Alright, so I was laying down in bed just relaxing, and this vision started shortly after I had closed my eyes. All of a sudden, I saw this glorious light and these pristinely white clouds. I felt so happy because it was all around me. Then all of a sudden, I'm like sucked straight down. I can see my arms and legs out in front of me as I'm getting sucked down. When I hit the ground, everything goes black. I think the fell knocked me out because I woke up in this vision, and when I looked around, everything was pitch black. I looked down at my arms and they were completely burnt. My entire body, head to toe, was burnt to a crisp, kind of like a roasted marshmallow. And there were cracks all over my skin. I could see fresh, bloody flesh, I guess is what I would call it. I was aware that this alone was extremely painful, even though I couldn't actually feel it. I heard people panicking and freaking out around me, but I couldn't see them. I was so confused as to where I was. I thought to myself, is this hell? Lord, why am I here? During this vision, I was completely aware of my life and what had just occurred in my life, so I was aware that about a week prior to this vision, I had had another dream from God where I was taken up and I was in the clouds heading up to Him, and the clouds were white with these beautiful hues of pink and orange, and the light around me was pure and warm, and I felt so full of peace and complete happiness. I had a huge smile on my face as I went upwards. It was absolute bliss and nothing else mattered during that dream. So in this vision, I was aware of that dream, and I continued thinking, Lord, I was just with you. How could you put me here? And then I looked up and I could see cracks in the crust. It was like in a giant circle. I started going towards where I could climb up to it, thinking, Lord, please let me out of here. I went towards these cracks because I could see the pure light coming through them. As soon as I started to climb up, something knocked me down with force. I didn't know what it was, but I heard it laughing as it knocked me down. I was in such disbelief when I hit the ground again that I was in actual hell. I stood myself up and looked around again. Everything was still pitch black. I could see the forms of others that were right next to me. They were burnt up like me as well. For a brief moment, I thought, well, this isn't so bad. And then I was pushed forward in a crowd. I couldn't make anything out unless it was right next to me. As we all slowly moved forward, it felt like we were going downward. I started hearing this noise, but I couldn't quite make it out. Then I started to hear clear screaming coming from in front of me. I tried to move back, but I couldn't because the people behind me were still moving forward. Then I got stabbed straight through my torso with a spear. At the end of the spear was this hideous creature. It was at that moment I realized that the beings that weren't burnt to a crisp were demons. I stared at the spear as the demon slowly pulled it out of me. I knew that it was painful, but again, I didn't actually feel it. My mouth fell open as I put my fingers in the hole, and then it closed up like it was never there. I kept getting pushed forward. I cried out, Lord, please take me out of here. I don't want to be here. Please, Lord. I opened my eyes at this point because I was absolutely terrified and confused. I've never had a vision before, just dreams. While my eyes were open, I asked, Lord, is this from you, or am I just having some insane imagination going on? After about 30 seconds, I closed my eyes again, and the vision resumed. I tried running off to the side, but I soon ran into demons that grabbed me and did very perverse things to me. Once they were done, they left, and I got up and ran back towards the path I was on. I was crying until I ran into someone. I felt that this person was another woman. She was crying too. We held on to each other, saying how awful this was. Suddenly, she was snatched away by a demon. I could hear her screams. I looked around and could see the glow of fires. Fire was the only light in this place. Unless demons or humans passed by the fires, it illuminated onto blackness. I could see people getting dragged by demons in front of some fires. In front of others, I saw perverse things happening, and in others, I could see whippings and tortures. The demons were hideous and creepy looking. They all seemed delighted in what they were doing. And then a demon came out of nowhere and whipped me across my back with this chain whip that had multiple chains and metal spikes on the chains. The spikes dug all the way into my back. Then the demon dragged the whip downward, and so much of my back was just ripped out. I began to cry again. As my back healed, I started running forward while thinking, Lord, please, please stop this. Lord, please. And there was no answer from the Lord. He wasn't in this place or listening. I began to weep. And then the sounds I had heard earlier became clear. It was screaming, coming up from even further down. I could hear all the demons chatter and laughter. A group of demons circled me and ran around me. One jumped out and landed right in front of me and scared me. It then went back into the circle of them running around me. Another jumped out and speared me, then went back into the circle. One punched me, then all their faces were right in front of me, and it terrified me. And they were so hideous. And then they were gone. After I tried to hide, but there was no place to hide. New ones found you every time. Somehow, I found the cracks in the, I would call it, quote-unquote, sky area. I was so relieved. I began speaking out to the Lord again. Lord, I'm here. Please, Lord, let me through. I'm so sorry, Lord. Please let me come home. I got about halfway to these cracks before I was sucked back down. I was dragged down further than I had been before, and terrible things kept happening, and there was no escape from it. There was no rest. That felt like the worst thing for me. I just wanted a break, some rest or relief, but there was none. I started to cry again. Hearing all of the constant screaming was maddening. I couldn't bear it. At this point in the vision, the Lord made it known to me that I wasn't experiencing the worst of it. After another attack, I somehow made it back to where the cracks were. While I made my way up to the cracks, I realized that I was the only one trying to get out. I made it all the way up to the cracks. As I pushed my hand through a crack, I spoke out to the Lord. Please let me through. I want to be with you. I was amazed that I was able to push my hand through the crack. The light shone brighter, and the vision ended. After this vision ended, I asked the Lord if that was a vision from Him. And He led me to John chapter 9, verse 34. And I took that as my confirmation from Him that this was indeed a vision from Him. And this vision really serves as a warning to others that don't know Jesus or won't accept him. Hell is a very real place. It's horrible. It is the most awful thing I've ever seen. Like, there really isn't a lot of time left. And so if you haven't already, just turn to Jesus and accept him as your Lord and Savior. And grow a relationship with him and God. Oh, I'm sorry for all the crying. It was just a very emotional vision. It really was just awful. I wouldn't wish anybody upon that place. It was horrible. And if you've gotten this far in the video, thank you for taking the time to listen, and have a blessed day.